ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। We were looking at the 19th vakya, where after in the 18th the dream state was described, and while describing the dream state, the Upanishad itself says that yatha kamam, like that there is a word here, it uses yatha kamam parivartate. So the Vijnana Maya, or the consciousness which is manifesting in a body mind sense complex, during the dream state, it goes around as it wishes. Yatha kamam, but the yatha kamam itself is actually in keeping with karma. That also we have to take. But since it is there, Bhashyakara says that there can be a doubt now. Kama vashat parivartanam uktam. But then there is a question, does the Atma then have kama? Whether that kama is swabhavika, whether it is natural to oneself. So this doubt can be there. If the Atma has kama, means it is ashuddha. Therefore, to actually answer and clarify this doubt, only the Upanishad is starting here. It is again talking about the Sushupti. So the Upanishad says that during the Sushupti, the Atma is Shuddha, it doesn't know anything. And then the Sushupti Avastha itself is compared with different states of different people. So how it sleeps and all, it talks about some nadi, that how the waking state happens and how the sleep happens. The Upanishad is actually explaining here that whenever the consciousness which is manifesting in a particular individual body mind sense complex goes through these nadis, and then through the indriya, this antakarana avachinna chaitanya then goes along with the antakarana, and that's how one is awake to the external things which are there in the waking state. And then when it contracts again and goes back into the heart, so one again goes to sleep. So this is explained here, that there are 72,000 nadis also is talked about, and when it is in the sleeping state, that state is called atignim, anandasya atignim, and all that, anandasya gatva, like that Upanishad says. In the deep sleep, one does not have any dukkha, all the dukkha has been destroyed. Atignim means it is all destroyed. Atishayena hanti, like that Bhashyakara will say, later we'll see. So there is no dukkha in the deep sleep, and the sukha is now compared with either the sukha of a baby or a maharaja or a mahabrahmana, because these people are supposed to have the highest sukha in regular life. So their level of ananda is now compared with the ananda which we have in deep sleep, which is the swabhava ananda, okay, which is the ananda which is our very nature, thereby showing that the Atma is always Vishuddha, it is always pure. So that is what is the point of this particular 19th Vakya. So let us see the Bhashya. Atha yada sushuptaha bhavati. So atha yada sushuptaha bhavati. Bhashyakara is taking this up now. Yada means what? Swapnaya charati tada api ayam vishuddhaha eva. So while you are sleeping means even while sleeping you can have swapna. Bhashyakara again points this out because he has given that introduction, correct? So what the Upanishad wants to convey here is even while you are sleeping and you are having the swapna avastha, even then the Atma is Vishuddha only. It is not tainted by any of the experiences which are there in the dream world. It is pure. And Atha Punaha Yada Hitva Darshana Vrittim Swapnam Yada Yasmin Kale Sushuptaha Sushtu Suptaha Samprasadam Swabhavyam Gataha Bhavati. So Atha Yada Sushuptaha Bhavati. That's what he is saying. Yada Sushuptaha Bhavati means what he is explaining further. Now having given up this swapna means the subject object division in the dream, giving it up, which is also a form of experience, correct? Darshana vritti. There is a certain vision and an experience. Now giving that up in whatever that time, yasmin kale, sushuptaha means what? Shushtu suptaha, samprasadam swabhavyam gataha. Like that, Bhashyakara is giving the meaning for this sushuptaha. Because suptaha and a prefix also is there, su. So sushtu suptaha means what? You sleep very well, a deep sleep. Means in that state, samprasadam means what? You are totally calm. Okay, samprasadam means totally quiet, totally calm. There is no other disturbance or anything. And it is your very nature also. Swabhavyam gataha. So you are resting in your own nature. That is the deep sleep. And there what Bhashyakara points out now, again he wants to point out that it is the state of your nature, and in that state you are pure, you are not connected with anything. So he says Salilam iva anya sambandha kalushyam hitva swabhavyena prasidati. So even water can become dirty as it is, we can say, when it comes into contact with mud and all that, correct? Even the river water during a storm or flood and all that, it looks very muddy. But again, the next day you go, the water can be crystal clear after everything settles, correct? That then the water is clean. It is not anymore impure, you can say. Similarly here also, when the self is in deep sleep, it is pure. It doesn't have any contact with all the subject object experience itself, and it is there as its very nature, in its very own nature. It is there enjoying itself. Swabhavyena prasidati. Okay, again Bhashyakara further asks, how does it sleep? Okay, and when does it sleep really? When you say the deep sleep state, when can we say that one is in deep sleep? That Upanishad itself is answering that. So he is taking it forward with the question, Kada sushuptaha bhavati, when does one really sleep? Means yada na kasya chana veda. That is the answer for that. Yada yasmin kale, in whatever time, at that particular time, when na kasya chana na kinchana ityarthaha. So you do not know anything basically. Veda vijanati. So when you do not know anything separately from you, there is no subject object division. And kasya chana va shabdadehe sambandha sambandhi vastuantaram kinchana na veda. So kasya chana means what? basically we can take it as we do not know any other object other than ourselves. That also Bhashyakara wants to make it clear. It is not that in deep sleep you have become your consciousness as your nature has left you. That is not the case. It is the case that you are not aware of anything because there is no objective experience there. The subject object division is not there, that's all. So he is pointing out that Shabda Dehe means all Indriya Vishaya, Adi Padat, like sound, etc. All any sense object you do not know, okay, because you don't come into contact with any of the sense objects. That has to be added, he says. Iti adhyaharyam. Adhyaharyam means normally sometimes the sentence may look incomplete, okay, when it is particularly in sutra literature. They may not, none of the sutras are complete sentences, correct? We have to actually add words, supply additional words, and then complete it and understand it. Here also Bhashyakara, even though it is only saying Kasya Chana Veda, means Kasya Chana, we have to understand correctly by supplying that it does not know anything other than oneself, any object. So that is the proper way of understanding that. So he says that Purvam tu Nyayam. Nyayam means proper or correct way of understanding something. So whatever has been said here before is the right way to understand this. Because in sleep, so he gives the reason for that. What Suptetu Vishesha Vijnana Abhavasya Vivakshitatvat. So what the Upanishad is trying to show you here is there is no Vishesha Vijnana. Because why Bhashyakara has to point this out is Buddhist and all is saying that in sleep there is only Shunya is there. There is no consciousness at all. We do not accept that, because if there is no consciousness or any invariable presence of the consciousness, the same person cannot wake up or they cannot have a recollection that I slept well, etc. So the pratyabhijna, we say, is a very important thing for us. Because in sleep, if there is only shunya is there, there is no consciousness. That is why he is explicitly pointing out there is no object consciousness. Understand that. That doesn't mean that the subject also is not there or no consciousness is there. So we have to understand this properly. The Vishesha Vijnana is not there. Vishesha Vijnana means what? Specific objective knowledge is not there. That is the Vivakshitatvat means what? That is what is intended to be revealed here. So evam tavad Vishesha Vijnana abhave sushuptaha bhavati iti uktam. So when there is, in this manner, when there is no Vishesha Vijnana, when there is no specific objective knowledge, one is asleep. One is in deep sleep. That has been said. But how does one go to this deep sleep? That is now being said here. So he says, Kena punaha kramena sushuptaha bhavati iti uchyate. So in what krama means what? How does one even get into this sleep state? So we have our own theory for this. Okay, the Upanishad gives a certain way in which one goes into sleep. So what is that? The Upanishad is now saying, Hita nama nadyaha dvasaptatihi sahasrani hridayat puritatam abhipratitishthante. Okay, this part now Bhashyakara is commenting. Hita nama, hita iti, evam namnyaha, nadyaha, siraha. Now this sira, nadi, etc., if you look into dictionary and all, they simply translate it as vein, artery or nerve and all that. But I feel that we need not translate it as something physical in the body. It is all sukshma, subtle. So it is some kind of a subtle pathway we have to take. That's all. This concept of nadi is there very much in our Vedika literature. Ayurveda also talks about that. So here there is a the name is given by the Upanishad Hita. Okay, the nadis are called Hita, and they are what? How many are there? Okay, Dehasya, and what is a nadi? Bhashyakara says, Dehasya annarasa viparinama bhutaha. So these nadis are also nourished by the food we take only. Even though it is Sukshma, the Sukshma Sharira also is nourished by whatever anna food we have to eat. If you don't eat any food and if you don't drink any water, only 3 days the body can sustain the prana. Correct? Prana itself is Sukshma. So it has to be nourished by whatever food we are eating. So the nadis also, they are functioning because they are nourished by the food which we eat. They are a modification of the food only. We have to take it as. And how many nadis are there? Tascha dvasaptatihi sahasrani. Now dvasaptatihi also Bhashyakara explains. He says dve sahasre adhike saptatischa. So 2 above 70, sahasrani 1000 also. So 72,000 are there. Ta dvasaptatihi sahasrani hridayat. Okay, then the next part, hridayat puritatam abhipratitishthante. So hridayat, hridayan nama mamsa pindaha. Hridaya is the actual piece of muscle. Okay, your heart. And tasman mamsa pindat pundarika akarat. So the heart is in the form of a lotus or an inverted lotus, we say. Even for upasana purposes, this hridaya pundarika we say always. Okay, and that pundarika is also actually it is held upside down like that. It comes even in some Narayana Sutta and all. If you see, it is there. So that's how we look at the hridaya. So tasman mamsa pindat pundarika akarat puritatam hridaya pariveshtanam achakshate. So puritatam here means it can be any of the internal organs are called puritata, like an intestine or whatever is around your heart. So here Bhashyakara says hridaya pariveshtanam achakshate means whatever is surrounding your heart. So in English you can call it pericardium and all that in modern anatomy. So here, but what actually it indicates is what Bhashyakara says, tad upalakshitam shariram iha. So puritatam means what? Whatever is surrounding the heart means the entire body itself we have to take. He says because these nadis are going all over your body from the heart. 72,000 of them are there. So puritat shabdena abhipretam. Shariram itself is indicated by the puritat, that shabda. Otherwise, puritat normally means either this pericardium or intestine and all that. Internal organs are meant by that. Puritatam abhipratitishthanta iti means what? Shariram kritsnam vyapnuvatya. So, abhipratitishthante means what? It pervades all over the body. These 72,000 nadis come out of the heart and they are pervading all over your body. And how do they pervade? Bhashyakara gives an example. Ashwatta parna rajaya iva bahirmukhyaha pravrittaha ityarthaha. So if you take a ashwatta leaf, this people tree is there, correct? In India, arasamaram we say in Tamil. So it has a big leaf like this, beautiful leaf. And if you actually dry it, we can see the veins going out in that very clearly. It is like a net or a network of all this. Some fibers will be going there. It is like that, going out from a central main vein will be there, and then a lot of network of fibrous this stalks will be going out. So like that it is. This also this hita nadis and all, they are going out in the body. Okay. So then what is this? Why we are even talking about this nadi? Okay, that is now. Tatra buddhehe antakarnasya hridayam sthanam. Okay, so now Bhashyakara says the buddhi or antakarana is located in the hridaya, in the heart. That is what Even in the Shastra, whenever the Hridaya Shabda is used, mostly the meaning is that it actually refers to the intellect or buddhi. So here Hridaya is the sthanam or the locus of your buddhi or antakarana. And then what? Tatrastha buddhi tantrani cha itarani bahyani karanani. So all other external organs, the organs of action and sense organs and all that, they are all are in the control of that buddhi only. Manas or buddhi have to be backing up your organs, otherwise your organs cannot function properly, or even if they function, you will not know anything, correct? If the buddhi is not backing up the mind, even if some sense object is there, that will not become evident. So they are all under the or subjected to this buddhi, all the external organs. Tena buddhihi karma vashat shrotradini tabihi nadibihi मत्स्य जालवत कर्ण शष्कुल्यादि स्थानेभ्यः प्रसारयति. Okay, so now Bhashyakara is explaining how we experience everything in the waking state. So in that buddhi or through that buddhi only what? Karma vasha, due to karma. Karma is very important for all our experiences. All our experiences are based on our own karma, which is very important to understand, because then you cannot blame anybody else. Understand that whatever is happening to you, it is all your karma that comes out all the time here, correct? Even before, in many of the Upanishad Vakyas here, Bhashyakara talks about that. Even whatever comes in your dream also is your karma only. So everything, all the experiences you are going through are based on your karma. That means if you have that understanding very clearly, then you have nobody else to blame for anything you are undergoing. Just accept it as your karma. That is the best policy. If you want to have sanity in this world, we have to accept everything as karma. There is no other way, in fact. Because none of the experiences we are undergoing, or even the next thought which comes in our mind, really is not under our control or anything, correct? Mind can throw up anything. I see many times even in the internet and all that, people keep asking this question: how can we control what thought is coming in the mind and all that? That is not really in our hands, correct? That is already fixed by our prarabdha karma and whatever samskaras you have gained over your lifetimes. It's not a question of what thought can come. Any thought can come. That's not a problem. Whether you identify with that and then you have a sangha and all that, correct? In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan clearly explains that any thought can come. If you do not associate with it, it will just die down and go away. That's it. There is no big deal. But if you start associating with that, then what? It becomes kama and all that. Okay, there is a whole series of things which Bhagavan talks about in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Sangasteshu upajayate, sangat sanjayate kamaha, kamat krodho bijayate, krodhat bhavati sammohaha, and all that he keeps on going there. So kama krodha and all comes, and then smriti vibramaha, smriti bhramshat, buddhi nashaha. So you do not even have your own knowledge. Whatever knowledge you have gained also, you are not able to use when you are in the spell of your own anger. Okay. So that is the problem. The problem is not some thought coming. Any thought can come to anybody. You don't have any control over that because it is purely your own karma. So don't worry about that. And here what? Karma vashat shrotradini tabihi nadibihi matsya jalavat. So only due to karma, all these indriyas are now moving through your nadis only. Okay. And this nadi is like a fish net, he says, matsya jalavat. And they move through those networks of nadis and then move out through your karna shashkulyadi, means each organ's golaka we have to take. Okay. The ear passage is called shashkulya or shashkuli, I think. So karna shashkulyadi yadi sthanebhyaha means what? It is all moving through your different golakas, the physical organ, whatever is there. And prasarayati, it goes through that. See, our theory of knowledge, correct, is based on this only. So our theory of knowledge is what we say, that the consciousness which is manifesting in our antakarana flows out through the different organs and assumes the form of the actual Vishaya. So that Vishaya also is Vishaya Avachinna Chaitanyam only. There is a Vishaya Avachinna Chaitanyam. There is Antakarana Vritti Avachinna Chaitanyam, which has gone out and taken the form of that Vishaya. So what do we say as Pratyaksha? Our definition of Pratyaksha is very interesting, correct? It is all based on Bhashyakara's Bhashya here. Later on, there are texts like Vedanta Paribhasha which talk about this in a lot of detail. But it is all really based on, it's very clear here, correct? What he says, it goes through this nadi and it will take the form of the object. And when the object consciousness and the mano vritti avachinna chaitanya, the consciousness which is manifesting in your modification of your mind, both are same. It is like two parts being one into the other. They are now conditioning the same space, correct? Like that, when it happens only, you have pratyaksha, we say. You have direct knowledge of a thing. It is not just based on indriya artha sannikarsha. The Nayayikas define pratyaksha as when the indriyas come into contact with sense objects. But even when the indriyas are in contact with sense object, always you may not have knowledge, because if your mind is not backing it, if your consciousness is not flowing through that organ and actually taking the form of that object, it doesn't become direct knowledge for you. You do not know it. So that is our theory of pratyaksha here. The bhashya for that is there here. So prasarya cha adhitishtati jagarita kale. So having gone through that, it is there. All this, the consciousness manifests through your heart, and then through the nadis, through all the indriyas, it goes out, and then it can take the form of an object, and it is pervading that. And that is how all your experiences are taking place in the waking state, jagarita kale. Okay, that's what he explains here. He says, Tam Vijnanamayaha Abhivyakta Swatma Chaitanya Avabhasataya Vyapnoti. Clear. Okay, he says what? Abhivyakta Atma Chaitanya Avabhasataya means what? Avabhasaha means you can take it as appearance. Some people take it as reflection also. But reflection sometimes is a problematic word. Unless you understand it correctly, it is better to simply take it as an appearance. Your consciousness appears. Consciousness is there everywhere, but still it specially appears in certain upadhi only. Wherever the upadhi is conducive for it to manifest in a profound manner, let us say, that's where it appears. Like even we say everywhere there is light, but that light you cannot see in a vacuum, correct? Even when the light is going through the space, unless it is reflected by something or you put a lens and concentrate it in some place, light cannot be seen, or its effect of heat. Light also produces heat, but even that you cannot feel it unless it is concentrated with a lens. Like that, unless there is a particular conducive upadhi like our own body mind sense complex, this consciousness does not manifest as a sentience or awareness. Otherwise consciousness is there everywhere, but in this case especially it is appearing, your own consciousness is appearing as jnanamaya, as the sentience or awareness, and that awareness only goes and pervades the object consciousness also. So the awareness which is appearing through your mind and through your indriyas, and then it goes and pervades the object consciousness, and that's how the objects become known to you. They become evident to you. That is the waking state. Then you have the subject-object experience. Then what? Sankochana kalecha tasyaha Sankuchati. Sankochaka means what? Withdrawing, resolving back. So I was talking about this awareness, which is nothing but your own consciousness manifesting. It resolves back into yourself. Okay. So when it resolves back, you go back into sleep. That's what Bhashyakara is saying here. Saha asya vijnanamayasya swapaha. So when it withdraws or retracts and resolves back into oneself, that is the sleep of the Vijnanamaya. The sleep is only for the Vijnanamaya and your Antakarana really. The consciousness never sleeps. It is always Anupta Dhrike. It is always having its own same nature of being aware. So the sleep is only for the Vijnana Maya. It is not for the Atma. That is what we have to understand here. Buddhaihi saha chandradi pratibimbaha iva jaladi anuvidhayi. So the sleep is when this Vijnana Maya resolves along with the Antakarana, and waking is when it actually again starts projecting itself, correct? Jagrad is the Vikasa Anubhavaha Bhogaha. And the Antakarana Avachinna Chaitanya, which is the Vijnana Maya, they both again grow. Okay. And again the way in which the Chaitanyam itself appears, it is dependent on the Upadhi itself. So the appearance or the sentience and awareness which is appearing in a man is different from how it appears in animals or single-celled organisms and all that. Correct? Everywhere sentience is there, but it does not appear in the same way. So it is dependent on the conditioning factor or the Upadhi. So Buddhi Upadhi Swabhava Anuvidhayi means what? It is in keeping with whatever is the Upadhi for the Buddhi. Like even the reflection of a moon is dependent on where it is getting reflected, correct? So Jaladi Anuvidhayi, Pradi means any luminous body. The reflection of a luminous body is dependent on the reflecting medium. Similarly, here also the appearance of this sentience or awareness is dependent on the actual body-mind sense complex. Different types of body-mind sense complexes are there. Accordingly, this sentience or awareness also manifests. Okay, so tasmat tasyaha buddhehe jagrad vishayayaha tabihi nadibihi pratyeva sarpanam anupratyeva sripya puritati sharire shete tishtati. Okay, now this part tabihi pratyeva sripya puritati shete, this part Bhashyakara is explaining here. Okay, so tabihi tasmat tasyaha buddhehe jagrad vishayayaha. So from the jagrad vishaya, this through the nadis, tabihi nadibihi, pratyeva sarpanam means what? It actually resolves back, it withdraws. So pratyeva sripya puritate tati means in the heart here, in the sharira itself. Puritat means internal to your body. In the sharira, shete, it is there. Shete means it tishtati, it is the Atma. Even during sleep, it is sleeping within the body. That is important because the dream also is happening there only, correct? So it has to be said that during sleep, this Vijnana Maya is resolved back into the body itself. But that doesn't mean that Atma itself is only located. The consciousness itself is located only within this body. That is not the point here. That Bhashyakara will make it clear here. So he says taptam iva shariram samvyapya vartate ityartha. So even when this consciousness, the vijnanamaya or the awareness and sentience, when it resolves back into the body, it is there like even the Agni is there in a hot iron. It is actually pervading the entire iron, correct? The fire pervades the entire iron when the iron is heated up. Similarly, the body is also pervaded by the sentience or awareness, and it is there in the body only. So here Bhashyakara makes a note. He says, Swabhavikaha eva swatmani vartamanaha api karma anudata buddhya anuvrittitvat puritati shete iti uchyate. So when you sleep, you actually resolve back into your own nature, which is Atma Swarupa, which itself is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Actually, it is not located in any one particular body or anything. It is limitless consciousness. That is your reality. You withdraw into that reality only. But even then, still as an individual consciousness which is appearing in a particular body mind sense complex, when you look at it from that standpoint, that again is dependent on karma, your own karma as an individual. So it is in keeping with the karma, and in keeping with that only your whatever your intellect and your antakarana withdraws, and then from that standpoint, from an individual standpoint only, it is said that you are sleeping within your own body or you are there in your body. Otherwise, again, this puritati shete is basically upadhi standpoint. It is said. It is not from your own swabhava standpoint. That's what Bhashyakara is pointing out here. So, nahi sushupti kale sharira sambandha asti. So, finally, he makes it very clear. When you are asleep, in deep sleep, there is no sharira sambandha. Okay. Otherwise, if sharira sambandha is there, all the sharira's problems will be your problem even in deep sleep. But that is not the case. But for that, he is also quoting the Upanishad itself. Later on in the 4th chapter, 3rd Brahmana, it is said here, Tirno hi tada sarvan shokan hridayasya. So this Atma has crossed all the sorrow of your heart. Like that, heart here means the antakarana and your body mind sense complex by extension. So the individual only has problems. When you are in deep sleep, there is no individuality. So along with the individuality, all the problems of the individual also are gone. So you have crossed all your shokas, your sorrows. So that it will be said like that later on. Therefore, in Sushupti Kala, there is no real Sharira Sambandha. That comes out clearly. And one is there only in one's own Swarupa Ananda. So that is what he is saying here. Sarva samsara dukkha viyukteyam avastha ityatra drishtantaha. So now, having said that one sleeps like this, when one withdraws back through these nadis, then what is that sleep state like? For that, drishtanta is now given. Analogies are given. What are those analogies? Sa yatha kumaraha va atyanta balaha va. So kumaraha means very young child, baby. Now baby enjoys a lot because baby doesn't have any problems of the adults. Okay, so baby, being a baby, you enjoy yourself and you are a joy for others also. So that is one bala avastha. Then Maharajaha va, when you are a king, atyantya vashya prakritihi yatoktakrit. So vashya prakritihi means what? All his subjects are totally under his control. One who has total control over his subjects. A king who is having his entire kingdom under his control. like how it was said before also, such a person also is having Ananda. And Mahabrahmanaha va atyanta paripakva vidya vinaya sampannaha, or like a Mahabrahmana who has maturity, paripakva, correct? Total paripakva. In fact, atyanta paripakva means what? You have complete emotional maturity and you have knowledge, vidya and vinaya also. So wherever vidya is talked about, vinaya also Bhashyakara brings here, and it's there in Bhagavad Gita also, correct? Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane ka vihastini shuni chaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshinaha. Like that, there is a Gita verse is there. So one who has vidya and vinaya, knowledge and humility, and one has total maturity, such a brahmana enjoys his life totally. Or either a child is enjoying, or a king is totally enjoying, or one like a Mahabrahmana who has knowledge and maturity is also enjoys. All these three people are given as a drishtanta for the sukha you are having in your deep sleep. Okay. Now that further it says atignim. So this word atignim is there. Mahabrahmanaha va atignim anandasya gatva. Like that it is there. So atigni means what Bhashyakara says, atishayena dukkam hanti iti atigni. So specially you destroy all your dukkha, you destroy. And by doing that, what? Anandasya avastha, sukha avastha tam prapya gatva, you gain a state of happiness or joy. And having gained that, what? Shayite avatishteta. So you sleep, you are there in that state. You rest in that state. Avatishteta. So three different drishtanta have been given for how you are there in your deep sleep, to show that it is a ananda avastha. And that way Atma is also vishuddha. It is pure. It is not connected to any dukkha or samsaritvam is not there for Atma in deep sleep. Okay, that point he is making very clear here. He says, Yeshancha Kumaradinam Swabhava Avasthanam Sukham Niratishayam Prasiddham Loke. So he says in the world also, for a Kumara and a king and a Mahabrahmana, correct? For a child, for a king and a Mahabrahmana, for them the Swabhava, their natural state is of what? Niratishayam Sukham. He says they enjoy a lot of joy. That is their natural state. Unless they have some other issue and all that, they are enjoying themselves. That is prasiddha in the world also. Okay. And vikriyamananam hi tesham dukkam na swabhavataha. So by swabhava, they are supposed to be, by nature, they are supposed to be happy because they have everything, you can say in one way. They do not lack anything. But unless vikriyamanana means what? There can be some change. Another king has come now. But otherwise, normally they are all happy. Their sukha is the highest sukha in the transactional world. That is why that is now taken as a particular drishtanta here, or an analogy. So he says, Tena tesham swabhavikyavastha drishtantatvena apadiyate prasiddhatvat. So that is why what their natural state is being now taken as an analogy. Okay, as an analogy, as an example, it is being shown here or given here because it is prasiddha, it is popularly known, it is known to everybody. So another point also he makes here, na tesham swapaha eva abhipretaha. It is not about their sleep. because everybody's sleep is the same. Sleep avastha is the same whether you are a king or you are a beggar, compared to the sukha avastha of these three people during waking. That is what is the comparison here. The comparison is not between the sleep of a king and sleep of others, because you cannot compare that, because sleep state for everybody is the same. Everybody in deep sleep has the same experience. Therefore, that need not be even compared and shown. But the experience of deep sleep itself is now compared with the waking sukha of all these three people. That is what Bhashyakara is pointing out. न तेषां स्वापः एव अभिप्रेतः स्वापस्य दाष्टान्तिकत्वेन विवक्षितत्वात्. So here actually sleep is the one which is the dashtantika, means what? Which is being revealed through the analogy. Correct? So whenever there is only some differences are there, then only this there, and also always the analogy is different from what you are revealing through the analogy. Correct? So there has to be a difference between the two. Then only the analogy can be used to reveal something. There has to be some similarity and there has to be difference also. There is no difference in sleep, therefore sleep itself is not used as a drishtanta here. So tasman na tesham swapaha drishtantah एवमेव यथा अयं दृष्टान्तः एषः विज्ञानमयः एतत् शयनं शेते इति एतत् छन्दः क्रियाविशेषणार्थः एवं अयं स्वाभाविके स्व आत्मनि सर्वसंसारधर्म अतीतः वर्तते स्वापकालः काले. So here the sleep itself is not the drishtanta, but there sukha is the experience in the waking is shown as the drishtanta or analogy for the sleep sukha, and the vijnanamaya, when it is in shayana, it enjoys this ananda similar. So in this manner, this atma is there in the deep sleep sukha. That is what is shown here. And this deep sleep state itself is one's own natural state where one is beyond all samsara dharma. Samsara dharma atitaha vartate swapakale. That is what is shown here. That way it is shown that Atma is Shuddha, Vishuddha. It is not tainted by either waking or dream state. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.